Hello, how have you been? I'm Professor Ricardo Brito, Dean of the International Business School Americas and coordinator of the program Agriculture in Brazil. I'd like to invite you for this talk. I'd like to make it as interactive as possible. You'll have the chance of sending your questions. It's just you to log in on the chat. It's on the right of your screen, okay? You will need a Gmail account to log in and then access the chat where you can send your questions, your opinions, and also if you want, you can ask there for a certificate of attendance for this chat today, okay? So join us for this talk. I will make a very short initial presentation of about 10 minutes, and then we will enter our Q&A session discussing relevant aspects of the agricultural business in general, focusing on Brazil, but the idea is discussing how to develop this business around the world, right? So, you know that agribusiness have some pillars, have some aspects that are essential for its development. The first one is land. Of course, without land, it's much more difficult. Please see at the chart I'm putting in your screen right now that Brazil is the fourth largest country in the world, but it has the third largest agricultural area. We here in Brazil we have not only the third largest agricultural area in the world, but also the smallest use of our agricultural area in terms of percentage. It's important when you think of the perspectives for this business because every business wants to grow, wants to expand its production, of course, respecting the limits of the environment, respecting the sustainability of the production, but growth is something every business needs. And we realize today that Brazil has land enough to increase its production not only for internal use but also for exports. The second pillar for the agriculture is water availability. Just to give you an idea, to produce 1 kilo of beef, of meat, you need almost 4 tons of water. It's a lot of water. And if you don't have water, even if you have land, you probably have trouble to produce any kind of agricultural business. In a study of Coca-Cola company, you can see in this next chart that I have been showing here for you, you notice that Brazil is one of the few countries in the world where we have what we call surplus of water. Surplus of water means we have water not only for our internal consumption, but also to produce and to export goods based upon water use. And the third one, the third aspect that composes the three pillars of agricultural business is the climate. Climate with water and land compose the three pillars to sustain the agricultural business. In Brazil, as you are seeing here in this chart, Brazil is among all these countries that we were talking about in terms of land availability and water availability, the only one which is in the tropical area. If you combine these three aspects, tropical climate that we have in Brazil with water availability and land, Brazil is nowadays the number one in terms of potential growth for agriculture in the world, which means, for instance, that we are able to export, we are able to produce more than we consume internally and make our production, our surplus as exports for the whole world. As you may know, the world needs food. The population is growing, and not that much, but it's growing. And also the population is having more and more access to food. In a not very distant past, lots of people around the world have difficulty to access food, access meat, access carbohydrates. So now we are producing more and there is more people wanting to buy it. You see, the main destinations of Brazilian agricultural goods are, first of all, China, with its 1 billion population and a significant deficit in terms of agricultural production and agricultural consumption in the country. China has been an important partner for Brazil in terms of its exports. We are exporting to China about 18 billion dollars per year, and some analysts evaluate that it can reach easily 50 billion dollars a year. The second destination for Brazilian exports is nowadays the United States, to where we export about $7 billion per year, according to a study of PricewaterhouseCoopers from 2014. 2014, this data here. And we have also an important destination to Netherlands. Netherlands, as you may know, it's the entrance door for many European countries. So when you export to Netherlands, as a matter of fact, we are exporting to Europe in general. Japan and Germany compose the last two top 5 Brazilian export destinations. So as you can see, we are basically exporting to everybody. And this is a trend. We believe that adding to our natural pillars like water, land, and climate, if we can add technology, we add more logistical solutions, we can grow even more in the future, making this business not only something to help sustaining some farmers in Brazil and providing some food to the world, but also a very profitable business to several kinds of companies, to several profiles of interests, okay? And nowadays, Brazil's position in the global output is very expressive. You can see that in terms of our participation in world production, we are number one in several harvests like soybean, coffee, sugar, orange juice. We are second in ethanol, third in corn. We also have uh, an important participation in world exports. World exports means we are not only producing for our internal consumption, but also to other countries. We are number one exporter for soybean, corn, coffee. In terms of sugar, we represent almost 50% of worldwide exports of sugar. This is very important in terms of how to do business in this area. We are showing this for you because we believe many professionals around the world may be interested in to learn and into participate in this business. The idea is not only showing you, well, how big is Brazil, but how can Brazil be big to your business? You can think of investing in Brazil's agriculture. You can think of becoming a partner of Brazilian agricultural businesses. You can be a distributor in your region, or you can analyze the model that Brazil is using and try to apply in other contexts like in African countries, Asian countries, etc. So we organize, due to this, a short-term intensive executive program called Agribusiness in Brazil. This is a 3-week program taught in English. The classes will be held in São Paulo city. São Paulo is the biggest Brazilian city, the most modern, clean, state-of-art buildings, we have in this region. São Paulo is the financial center of Latin America, and the campus is very well located in our international neighborhood here. And we also provide field trips for you, not only to access the contents in inside class experience, but also you have the chance of traveling to the countryside, getting to know people that works in this area, and having the personal experience of talking to managers in this field. All right. We will have, as I told you, 3 weeks of program. The first week is dedicated to global context of agribusiness. We will talk about agribusiness in Brazil and also agribusiness in the world. What are the leading products in international markets for agribusiness? What are the players involved in production, logistics, and global distributions? We'll have finally, we'll have some business cases and field visits for you to increase your knowledge in this area. In the second week, we'll have the subject innovation, technology, and sustainability. We will discuss productivity, how to increase productivity through R&D, research and development, and also how to organize your global supply chain. After that, we'll talk about agro-energy and agro-society. We'll be discussing how this business has evolved in the recent years into a new model of organizing the society around it, and how to provide environmentally friendly management for this kind of business. We are very worried about that. We cannot provide food for people and destroy the country and the earth at the same time. We gotta find a balanced way to provide food for those who need and at the same time preserving the environment. And of course, we will be discussing advanced topics on this subject, like the controversy regarding to the conflict between traditional agriculture and organic farming. All right. And in the third and last week, we will be discussing food security, food safety, food value generation, and value added products. It means we'll be really discussing how to make a real business out of this potential that Brazil has and other countries also have. The idea is understanding what are the demands of the markets in general around the world, how to provide food in the format, in the structure, in the process the world is buying nowadays. All right? We will be discussing logistics, infrastructure, marketing aspects, and the creation of branding. All right? If you want to apply, if you want to join this program, it's very simple. You got a form, an application form. We have our program brochure available for you to download. You just need to fill your application. We have partial scholarships covering up to 70% of the tuition costs, and you are more than welcome to apply for one of our scholarships available. The deadline for applying is October 31st. So you have until next week to apply for your scholarship and join us for this program. A program that is a 3-week program in July and August, and we have compressed the same structure in January. It's a 2-week program. So you have 3 options to come to Brazil: January, July, and August every year, and the scholarships apply for any of these options. Okay, and on top of the tuitions, the classes, we will provide some services for you to make it easier for you to attend this program and enjoy it to the best. We will provide you background readings. You will have online orientation sessions to prepare both academically and logistically for the program. We will provide you information, tutoring, and documents for you to apply for the Brazilian visa to come here, if it's the case you need. It depends on the country of origin. This is a program that is classified as an intercultural program, so you don't need to get a student visa to attend it. You just need to get a business visa or a tourist visa. You can attend this program, okay? We'll provide all information and documents for you and a tutorial to assist you in this process, okay? And of course, we will provide some tips and some help in terms of booking room and flight for you. We will suggest the dates, we'll suggest the places, so you can safely come here and stay during these 3 weeks, all right? You will be close to Paulista Avenue. Paulista Avenue is the financial center of Latin America. And you have classes at the UNIP's new campus center. It's a state-of-the-art building on the corner of Paulista Avenue. You'll be in a very good place to stay in, attending classes with students from more than 80 different countries. Students from all over the world, they are attending this program, and you are welcome to join us, okay? And we'll have the chance also to make some visits to farms, to get in touch with people, see the materials, talk to people who really decide where to invest and how to do business in this field, okay? That's what I had to say by now. Thank you again for joining us. The program Agriculture in Brazil, Agribusiness in Brazil, is open to enrollment, and I encourage you to join us for this short-term executive program, okay? So I will start now to answer the questions that you have sent. I have several questions from different countries, from Nigeria, Gambia, Indonesia, Ghana, Cameroon, Sri Lanka, Netherlands, United States, Philippines, Nepal, Spain, China, several different countries are interested in discovering more about agribusiness in Brazil. And you also have the chance of sending your question right now. Just log in on the chat on the right of your screen and make your comments, okay? I have here some questions. I will not have time to read all of them, but I will select some. Firstly, a question from Ms. Dian Sukma Pratwik from Indonesia. Thank you very much for sending your question and attending this meeting. She studies at the Institute Technology Bandung. Thank you very much. The question is, what is the best strategy to introduce modern farm technology to traditional farmers in Indonesia? Because many industries come and make another interest for farmer become a factory worker. Thank you. Well, farmers need to blend, need to combine innovation and sustainability. If you are just sustainable but you don't have productivity, or on the other hand, if you increase your productivity damaging the environment, you will jeopardize your business in the future. The idea is, if you increase both at the same time, you make a real business out of your farming activity. This is the key. If the guy changes, moves from the farm work to a factory work, it's because the factory is paying more. And the only option that we have is we cannot oblige anyone to stay in the farm. We can give them directions, we can give them perspectives so he or she can grow its products in the farm and grow personally, grow financially. And the key for this is the blend between sustainability and innovation, investing in technology, investing in productivity. Okay? Thank you, Ms. Diane, for sending your question, and I hope you join us for this program. It will be a very interesting opportunity for you to leverage your knowledge in this area, get in touch with people from around the world, and learn from our best experience here how to spread this kind of innovation around the world. Okay, thank you very much. I have here a question from Mr. James Chacha from Kenya. He studies at Strathmore University. Question is, increasing the level of agribusiness in the third world countries will lead to increased population. What measure can be taken to control population? I'm not sure if I agree with your position. I believe providing food means providing life for the people. If we understand that we need to control the population, usually education, access to information is the key for doing so. Restricting food for people is not a good option for controlling the population. But I'm sure this is not what you mean. The idea here is that for the people that are living now, we need to provide food enough for them, for their families, for their children. In terms of controlling population, in the case where we definitely need to control population, we gotta provide information for them, all right? Thank you very much. I have now a question from the United States. Mr. Kyle Hurst asks, what is the expected future of tree fruits, such as apples, cherries, in Brazil, as in markets, demands, and acres? Well, Brazil has a climate diversity that helps us to grow many kinds of production. We have here not only a broad latitude, the distance from equator, but also we have altitude, the distance from the sea level. So we believe that we have been focusing on more traditional options like the soybean, coffee, sugar, ethanol, etc. But this specialized production will definitely find a space in Brazil's future agribusiness. So if you are interested in these fields, I invite you to join this program, see with your own eyes what has been done here and how to become a partner or investor or a supplier of technology, etc., in this area. Brazil, I believe the most important bottleneck that we are facing by now is the logistics. Once we reinvest in our harbors, which are not as modern as they should be, as we invest in our logistics structure, probably Brazil will start conquering these other specialty markets in terms of agribusiness. Okay, thank you very much for sending your question, Mr. Kyle Hurst from the United States. And Mr. Julio, please, what are the questions that people are sending now, the names and the questions, please?
Okay, the first question we have received is from Mr. Marcos Obispo from Spain. He is saying, "Hi, Professor. I wonder what's your point of view about bioagriculture and how important it is in your opinion nowadays, especially in Brazil."
Well, if you ask the same question 20 years ago, it would be not considered as relevant. But nowadays it's very important. We are very concerned about the sustainability of this business, not only in terms of the continuous growth of the production itself, but also over the impact it has over other areas of other regions in the country and in the world. So the traditional farm has evolved. We are thinking in terms of sustainability, producing organic foods. We are thinking of producing other kinds of products that help diversity in terms of the environment in general. So I believe you'll be surprised on how Brazilian farmers are becoming more and more interested into grow in terms of business, into grow using these new approaches of farming here. Okay, Well, if you ask me if it's about ideology, consciousness, or just financial interests, I don't know, because the world has been putting a lot of pressure over agriculture around the world, not only in Brazil, but also in Brazil, in terms of equalizing the interests between the financial interests and the environment's interests. Okay? Thank you, Mr. Marcos from Spain, for sending your question.
Now, Mr. Reynaldi Agung from Indonesia. Reynaldi Agung from Indonesia is asking, what is the challenge in developing agriculture in Brazil?
Mr. Reynald, I believe the biggest bottleneck that we have now is logistics. Not only exporting logistics, as I mentioned before, in terms of our harbors, our structure to keep the production and then to export, but also the internal logistics. The production must go to the harbors and then be exported. Some kinds of production, if we are talking about specialties, we definitely need to improve also the airborne logistics for making it faster to reach the markets. In parallel to the logistics, I would name the branding as a key aspect of developing real business in agriculture in Brazil, because many of the farmers don't understand the importance of creating brands, of creating a product image, which is very important. If you analyze, for instance, the agribusiness from Chile in Brazil, you see that the value added of Chilean production is much higher than the Brazilian one. It means that Brazilian producers are exporting commodities where the Chilean producers are exporting brands, communicating the value, they are exporting value added products. So I would say that these two bottlenecks are the main challenge that Brazil is going to face within the next few years. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Reynald from Indonesia, from Institute Technology Bandung. Thank you very much.
Now, Miss Yu Zhang from China is asking, hi, Professor. I wonder if you can share more information about agribusiness between Brazil and China.
Well, Mr. Zhang, Miss Zhang, thank you very much for sending your question. She is attending a program at Hampshire College. Brazil and China has been evolving into very, very important trade partners recently. Brazil is seeing China as its number one export destination, and also Brazil is seeing China as its number one import origin. So China and Brazil have become very important trading partners. China is exporting more and more industrial goods to Brazil, not only commodity industrial goods, but also machines, cars, airplanes, etc. And Brazil is exporting more and more agricultural business, not only meat and ethanol or coffee or soybean, but also some specialty goods in terms of agribusiness. What I think that in the future will tend to increase the value added of both sides. China will increase the value of its exports to Brazil, exporting more value-added industrial products, and Brazil will increase the value added of its agricultural exports to China. Not only exporting, let's say, the soybean, which is not a good idea in terms of logistics, will probably start processing more the products in Brazil and exporting the final goods to to sell in China. So it will reduce the logistic costs and increase the value to the final consumer, to the final client. So I believe the increasing of value added is one important aspect of the future of agribusiness exports to China. But I would like to add another aspect here too. I believe in the future China will start demanding more and more environmentally friendly practices to its providers. And Brazil is increasing its attention to this, but we need to do more. We definitely need to do more. To protect more the environment here in Brazil is a way to protect the earth. We all live in the same small planet, and once habitable plants are scarce to find, it's better we take care of this little one that we have here, okay? So increasing the value added and increasing the control of environmental solutions for processing our production and exports will be, I believe, the trends within the next few years for the Brazilian agricultural exports to China. Ms. Yue Zhang, thank you very much for sending your questions. And we are running out of time. I don't know if we have time to answer more questions. We have time just to answer one more question. Please, Mr. Julio.
The last question is from Ms. Anna Krajovic from Russia. She's asking, what do you think about ongoing Russian embargo? It impacts hugely on European producers of fruits. How can they sell their goods if the European Union market is so small?
I know, and unfortunately, politics is always affecting business. Our political leaders gotta be smart enough to avoid this kind of problems because it affects production, affects consumption. You are punishing the producers in Russia, but also you are punishing the consumers in Europe. The consumers in Europe lack the exports from Russia, and they need to find other suppliers, and will definitely will pay higher prices for this. So the embargo helps no one. I hope the political leaders of the two sides can find agreements and unlock the commercial connections between them. Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Anna, for sending your question. I'd like just to add one more aspect to this. Russia has been a very important partner, commercial partner to Brazil. We have been exporting more and more meat to Russia, and we have been importing a lot of things from Russia too, like some industrial goods, some military equipments, and so on. I believe Russia and Brazil can increase the exchange, the commerce between these two nations, and increase also our cultural relations. Cultural relations between Brazil and Russia are very poor, I believe. There is a strong immigration, a strong group of Russian people, Russian immigrants living in Brazil, but out of it, we have just a little contact with your beautiful country. Thank you very much for sending your questions, and I hope you can join us to attend this 3-week executive program here in Brazil. With the scholarship available for you, you can access this program at a very accessible cost and enjoy the opportunity to get in touch with people from around the world, not only our faculty members here, but also students from all over the world. Okay, thank you very much. And once again, I would invite you to apply for the scholarship. You have until October 21st to apply for a scholarship. If you need any assistance, if you need any information, please, you just need to let us know. We'll provide any assistance that you need to enroll and enjoy this opportunity, okay? Once more, my name is Ricardo Brito. I'm PhD in Business Management at USP in Brazil, and thank you very much for joining us today. Bye-bye.